most people want a better life, but very few are willing to admit the truth about why their life has not changed. We blame circumstances. We blame lack of opportunity. We blame bad luck, difficult people, our past, and sometimes even time itself. But deep down, many of us already know the real reason. The habits we repeat every single day are quietly destroying the future we dream about. Change does not begin when life becomes easier. Change begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. Every day, millions of people wake up with goals in their mind, but excuses in their routine. They talk about success, but they protect comfort. They say they want discipline, but they continue feeding distractions. They dream about becoming stronger, healthier, wealthier, and more confident, but their daily actions keep pulling them in the opposite direction. The painful truth is this: your habits are shaping your future whether you realize it or not. Think about how many hours disappear every week on meaningless scrolling, overthinking, procrastination, and negativity. Think about how often people delay important decisions because they are waiting to feel ready. That moment rarely comes. Days born, come weeks, weeks become years, and suddenly people wake up feeling frustrated because life moved forward while they stayed in the same place. Not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to confront the behaviors holding them back. The hardest thing in life is not working hard. The hardest thing is being honest with yourself, honest about your excuses, honest about your laziness, honest about the distractions you keep protecting. Growth begins when you stop pretending everything is fine. You cannot heal a life you refuse to examine. You cannot change habits you continue to justify. Maybe your biggest problem is not failure. Maybe your biggest problem is comfort. Comfort convinces you that tomorrow is guaranteed. Comfort tells you there is still plenty of time. Comfort whispers, BX, that skipping one workout, wasting one day, or quitting one goal does not matter. But small actions repeated daily become your identity. Success is not created in one giant moment. Failure is not created in one giant mistake. Both are built slowly through repeated choices. The person you become 1 year from now depends on what you tolerate today. If you tolerate excuses, weakness grows. If while you tolerate distraction, your focus disappears. If you tolerate inconsistency, your confidence collapses. Every promise you break to yourself weakens your self-respect. And eventually people stop believing in themselves, not because they are incapable, but because they have trained their mind to quit. But the beautiful thing about life is this: the moment you become aware of what is destroying you, you also gain the power to change it. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. The moment you stop blaming the world and start taking responsibility, your life begins to shift. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is power. Because when you finally accept that your habits created your current reality, you also realize new habits can create a new future. You do not need to change everything overnight. You do not need to become perfect in one day. Real transformation starts with small decisions made consistently. Waking up earlier, moving your body, reading instead of scrolling, keeping your word to yourself, choosing growth over comfort again and again until discipline becomes part of your identity. There is another version of you waiting on the other side of these Che negatives. A stronger version, a focused version, a version that no longer runs from hard things. But that version only appears when you stop feeding the habits that are destroying your potential. Nobody can make this decision for you. Nobody can save you from the consequences of wasted time. Your future is being built right now through the choices you make when nobody is watching. So ask yourself how. Spice, Nestle, are your daily habits building the life you want or destroying the life you dream about? Because your future is not decided by your intentions. It is decided by your actions. Most people believe they need motivation to take action. They wait for the perfect feeling, the perfect mindset, the perfect burst of energy before they finally begin changing their life. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel powerful. Some days you feel exhausted. Some mornings you wake up ready to conquer the world, and other mornings you struggle just to get out of bed. If your entire future depends on how you feel, your progress will always be temporary. The people who truly transform their lives understand something different. They understand that discipline matters more than emo 10. Discipline is the ability to continue moving forward even when your feelings are working against you. It is showing up when nobody is clapping for you. It is staying committed when results are invaluable. It is choosing growth over comfort again and again until your actions become stronger than your excuses. There will be days when your mind tells you to quit. Days when you feel tired, frustrated, distracted, and discouraged. Days when your goals seem too far away and your energy feels completely empty. In those moments, average people stop. They listen to every emotional excuse their mind creates. But disciplined people understand that feelings are temporary. They know that emotions change constantly, but commitment must remain steady. You cannot build a powerful life if you only work when you feel inspired. Athletes do not become champions because they train only on good days. Successful people do not reach greatness because they act only when motivation appears. They succeed because they continue even when they are uncomfortable. They understand that real growth often happens in silence, repetition, and struggle. The dangerous thing about waiting for motivation is that I train. Advise your mind to depend on emotion instead of principle. You start believing you need the right mood to work hard, stay focused, or remain consistent. But life will never always give you the right mood. There will be stress, there will be setbacks, there will be heartbreak, failure, criticism, and disappointment. If you stop every time life becomes difficult, you will never discover your true strength. Discipline teaches you something powerful. It teaches you that you are capable of acting despite discomfort. And that changes everything, because once you realize you can move forward without feeling motivated, you stop being controlled by temporary emotions. You become dangerous in the best possible way. You become someone who keeps going no matter what mood arrives. Think about how many dreams have died because people lost motivation too quickly. Businesses never started, books never written, goals abandoned, potential wasted, not because people lack talent, but because they lack consistency. XY, the gap between successful people and unsuccessful people is often smaller than it looks. Many people have dreams. Many people have ideas, but very few people develop the discipline to keep showing up long after excitement disappears. This is why discipline creates confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. Every workout completed when you wanted to quit. Every early morning when your body begged for more sleep. Every hour spent learning instead of wasting time. Those moments slowly build mental strength. And over time, you stop seeing yourself as weak, lazy, or inconsistent. You begin seeing yourself as someone capable of hard things. The truth is, your future will not be shaped by your strongest moments of motivation. It will be shaped by your ability to stay committed during your weakest moments. Anybody can work hard when they feel inspired, but real character is revealed when you continue despite doubt, fear, boredom, or exhaustion. You have to stop negotiating with your feelings every day. Stop asking yourself if you feel like it. Successful people do not waste energy debating with their emotions. They decide once and then they act. They understand that discipline is freedom, because the more control you gain over your actions, the less control your emotions have over your life. 1 month of discipline can create momentum. 1 year of discipline can completely transform your identity. But it starts with one simple decision to stop waiting for motivation and start building habits that survive even on difficult days. Because when discipline becomes stronger than your excuses, your entire life begins to change. Most people want a completely different life, but they refuse to change their daily routine. They hope for success while repeating the same habits that created their frustration. They want confidence without discipline, growth without sacrifice, and transformation without consistency. But your life is not shaped by what you say once in a while. It is shaped by what you repeatedly do every single day. Your routine is the foundation of your future. The way you wake up, the way you spend your mornings, the things you consume, the people you listen to, the habits you repeat, and the choices you make when nobody is watching are all creating the person you are becoming. If you want a different future, you need a different routine. Many people underestimate the power of small actions because they are looking for dramatic change. They think success comes from one big opportunity, one perfect moment, or one sudden breakthrough. But real transformation usually happens quietly. It happens in the small decisions repeated daily. Waking up 1 hour earlier, reading 10 pages every day, exercising consistently, drinking more water, spending less time scrolling through negativity. These actions may seem small in 1 day, but over 30 days they begin changing your mindset, your energy, your focus, and your benefitance. The truth is, your current routine is either building your dreams or destroying them. There is no neutral lifestyle. Every habit is taking you somewhere. If your mornings begin with laziness, distraction, and negativity, your mind slowly becomes weaker. If your evenings are filled with endless entertainment and wasted time, your goals slowly lose importance. Many people complain about feeling stuck while protecting the very habits keeping them trapped. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to change their entire life without changing their environment or schedule. You cannot expect discipline while surrounding yourself with constant distraction. You cannot expect peace while consuming chaos every day. Your routine influences your emotions more even than you realize. What you repeatedly expose yourself to becomes part of your mindset. Think about how powerful mornings are. The first hour of your day often controls the direction of the next 12 hours. If you wake up, spot X late, rush through your morning, check your phone immediately, and fill your mind with noise, you start the day reacting instead of leading. But when you wake up with purpose, move your body, organize your thoughts, and focus on growth before distraction, your entire mindset changes. You begin feeling more in control of your life. The same applies to your physical health. Energy matters. A tired body creates a tired mind. Many people struggle mentally not because they are incapable, but because they neglect sleep, movement, nutrition, and discipline. Your body and mind are connected. When you train your body consistently, your confidence grows, your focus improves, your emotional strength becomes stronger. You stop feeling powerless because you are proving to yourself daily that you can do difficult things. Another important part of changing your routine is protecting your attention. Modern life is filled with distractions designed to steal your focus. Endless scrolling, constant notifications, meaningless entertainment, and toxic comparisons are draining people mentally. Hours disappear without purpose, and slowly people lose the ability to concentrate on what truly matters. If you want to change your life, you must learn to protect your mind from things that waste your energy. Changing your routine also means becoming intentional with your time. Successful people understand that every hour matters. They do not wait for motivation to appear before taking action. They create systems that help them stay consistent even on difficult days. A strong routine removes unnecessary decisions. Instead of constantly asking yourself what you should do, your habits begin guiding your actions automatically. At first, building a new routine feels uncomfortable. Your old habits will try to pull you backward because comfort always resists change. There will be mornings when you want to quit and evenings when laziness feels easier. But every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your identity. Slowly, the things that once felt difficult begin feeling normal. 1 month of a focused routine can completely shift your direction. You won't become perfect in 30 days, but you will become stronger, clearer, healthier, and more confident. And sometimes that is all a person needs to completely change their future. Because when your daily routine changes, your mindset changes. When your mindset changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your entire life begins to transform. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for confidence, waiting for clarity, waiting for fear to disappear. They convince themselves that one day they will finally feel ready to start chasing their goals. But the painful truth is that the perfect moment almost never arrives. Life does not pause until you feel prepared. Time keeps moving whether you act or not. The biggest dreams often die in the waiting stage, not born because people are incapable, but because they delay action for too long. They overthink every decision, analyze every risk, and create endless excuses to stay inside their comfort zone. They tell themselves they will start next week, next month, or next year. But delay becomes a habit, and eventually years pass while nothing changes. Fear is one of the main reasons people keep waiting. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of embarrassment, fear of making the wrong decision. But what many people fail to realize is that fear never completely disappears before action. Confidence is not something you magically receive before taking the first step. Confidence is built by taking action despite uncertainty. Think about every successful person you admire. None of them began their journey with complete certainty. They doubted themselves too. They felt nervous too. They faced rejection, criticism, and failure. But they moved anyway. They understood that action creates momentum, and momentum creates XE's belief. The first step is always uncomfortable because growth demands discomfort. Many people waste years preparing for a life they never actually begin. They read motivational quotes, watch videos, make plans, and talk endlessly about what they want to achieve. But knowledge without action changes nothing. Dreams without movement remain fantasies. At some point, you must stop planning and start doing. The truth is, clarity often comes after you begin, not before. People think they need to see the entire path before taking one step forward, but Life Raft Rely works that way. Most opportunities reveal themselves only after movement starts. Doors open when you prove that you are willing to move despite uncertainty. Direction becomes clearer through experience, not endless hesitation. Waiting for the perfect moment is dangerous because it creates the illusion of progress while keeping you trapped in the same place. You feel productive because you are thinking about your goals. But thinking alone does not change your reality. Action does. Small, imperfect action is always more powerful than perfect plans that never leave your mind. Another reason people wait is because they compare their beginning to someone else's success. They look at people who are already skilled, successful, or confident and feel discouraged about starting small. But every master was once a beginner. Every successful person once felt inexperienced and uncertain. Nobody starts at the top. Growth happens step by step. You must also understand that failure is not the enemy. Staying stuck is the enemy. Failure teaches lessons. Failure creates experience. Failure builds resilience. Most successful people failed many times before achieving anything meaningful. But even free settlement taught them something valuable. The people who eventually win are not the people who avoid failure completely. They are the people who refuse to stop moving forward. Life rewards courage more than perfection. The courage to apply for the opportunity. The courage to start the business. The courage to change your habits. The courage to walk away from toxic environments. The courage to begin before you feel fully ready. Those decisions often become the turning points that change everything. Imagine where your life could be 1 year from now if you stopped waiting today. Imagine the growth, confidence, skills, and opportunities you could build simply by taking consistent action. Most people underestimate what can happen when they stop hesitating and finally commit to movement. You do not need to have everything figured out right now. You do not need perfect certainty. You only need the willingness to begin. Progress is built one decision at a time, one uncomfortable action at a time, one brave moment at a time. Because in the end, the people who change their lives are not the people who waited for perfect conditions. They are the people who acted while feeling afraid, certain and unprepared. They understood something powerful. The perfect moment is not found. It is created through action. One of the fastest ways to destroy your potential is to stay surrounded by negative energy for too long. Many people want to grow, improve, and change their life, but they continue allowing toxic influences to control their mindset every single day. They stay around people who drain their confidence, environments that weaken their focus, and habits that slowly kill their ambition. Then they wonder why they feel stuck, exhausted, and unmotivated. The truth is, your environment shapes you more than you realize. The people you listen to, the conversations you entertain, the content you consume, and the energy around you are constantly influencing your thoughts. If negativity surrounds you daily, eventually it begins affecting the way you see yourself in your future. Negative energy does not always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it comes through constant criticism. Sometimes through people who laugh at you. Our goals, sometimes through fake friends who secretly become uncomfortable when you start improving yourself, and sometimes it comes through endless social media, distractions that fill your mind with comparison, anxiety, and self-doubt. You must understand that not everyone will support your growth. Some people benefit from your weakness because it keeps them comfortable. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your ambition reminds them of the dreams they abandon. So when you begin changing your habits, improving your mindset, and chasing bigger goals, some people will try to pull you back toward the old version of yourself. That is why protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. If you constantly allow negativity into your mind, your focus becomes weaker. Your confidence begins disappearing. Your motivation fades over time. You start doubting your own potential, not because you are incapable, but because you are surrounded by voices that feed fear instead of grow. X over. Think about how powerful influence really is. Spend enough time around lazy people and laziness begins feeling normal. Spend enough time around complainers and negativity becomes your language. Spend enough time around people with no vision and eventually your own dreams start shrinking. Human beings absorb the mindset of the environments they surround. Tay in. This is why successful people become intentional about what they allow into their lives. They protect their peace. They choose relationships carefully. They distance themselves from constant drama, gossip, and emotional chaos. They understand that energy is limited and wasting it on toxic environments slows down growth. But separating yourself from negativity is not only about other people. Sometimes you must separate yourself from destructive habits too. Endless scrolling, constant comparison, overconsumption of meaningless entertainment, negative self-talk. These things quietly poison your mindset over time. Everyday page. People spend hours consuming content that leaves them mentally exhausted and emotionally distracted. Then they wonder why they cannot focus on their goals. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant repeatedly will eventually grow. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, fear, and distraction, your confidence cannot survive. But if you begin feeding your mind discipline, knowledge, positivity, and purpose, your thinking slowly changes. And once your thinking changes, your actions begin changing too. This does not mean you need to isolate yourself from everyone or become cold toward people. It means you must become wise about who and what is access to your mind. Some relationships inspire growth, others destroy it. Some conversations push you forward, others pull you backward. You have to recognize the difference. One of the hardest parts of personal growth is realizing that you cannot stay connected to everything that keeps you weak. Sometimes growth requires distance. Distance from toxic environments, distance from unhealthy habits, distance from people who constantly drain your spirit. And although that process can feel lonely at first, it creates space for something better to enter your life. When you begin surrounding yourself with disciplined people, your standards rise. When you spend time learning, growing, reading, and improving, your mindset becomes stronger. When you protect your peace and focus your energy on meaningful goals, your confidence grows naturally. You begin feeling more clear, more driven, and more in control of your future. The quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of your environment. If you truly want to change your life in 1 month, you must become serious about protecting your mind. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your energy. And not every environment deserves your presence. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is choosing to walk away from what constantly weakens you. Because the moment you stop feeding negative energy, you finally create room for growth, focus, peace, and transformation to enter your life. Most people spend their lives focused on who they are right now instead of becoming obsessed with who they could become. They look at their current struggles, their failures, their weaknesses, and their limitations so often that they forget they are capable of transformation. They settle into routines that keep them average because they stop believing a greater version of themselves is possible. But the moment you become serious about your potential, your entire mindset begins to change. There is another version of you hidden beneath your excuses, fears, distractions, and bad habits. A stronger version, a more disciplined version, a focused version. A version that wakes up with purpose, keeps promises to itself, and refuses to quit when life becomes difficult. The tragedy is that many people never meet that version of themselves because they give up too early or become comfortable staying the same. When you become obsessed with your potential, you stop accepting mediocrity. You stop settling for habits that weaken you. You stop wasting years living far below your capabilities. Instead of asking what is easy, you begin asking what will help me grow. That shift changes everything. Think about the power of identity. Every action you repeat is shaping the way you see yourself. If you constantly procrastinate, avoid responsibility, and quit when things become hard, eventually you start believing you are weak. But when you consistently choose discipline, courage, and focus, you begin seeing yourself differently. You start building evidence that you are capable of greatness. The most powerful transformations happen when people stop chasing temporary motivation and start building a new identity. Instead of saying, I want to work out, they become someone who trains consistently. Instead of saying, I want success, they become someone X who values discipline and growth every day. Real change becomes permanent when your habits align with the person you want to become. This is why vision matters so much. You must see something bigger for your life. You must imagine the future version of yourself clearly enough that it pulls you forward even during difficult days. Imagine yourself mentally stronger. Imagine yourself physically healthier. Imagine becoming more confident, more focused, and more disciplined than you have ever been before. That vision creates fuel during moments when motivation disappears. Many people underestimate what focused effort can do in a short period of time. 1 month of discipline can increase your confidence. 1 month of learning can sharpen your mind. 1 month of consistency can create momentum that completely changes your direction. Small improvements repeated daily begin creating massive results over time. But becoming obsessed with your potential also requires sacrifice. You cannot become your best self while remaining attached to everything keeping you weak. Growth requires letting go of distractions, excuses, toxic habits, and limiting beliefs. It requires uncomfortable choices, early mornings, hard work, self-control, patience. There will be moments when the process feels lonely because transformation often separates you from the old version of yourself. The beautiful thing about personal growth is that it changes more than your external results. It changes how you feel about yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence deepens. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your character. Every difficult moment you survive proves that you are more capable than you once believed. Over time, you stop needing constant validation from other people because your self-respect becomes stronger. You no longer depend on applause to stay committed. You become driven by purpose instead of temporary emotion. And that mindset creates real power because blind people do not collapse every time life becomes difficult. You must understand that your current situation is not your final identity. Where you are now does not determine where you can go. People change, lives change, futures change, but transformation only happens when someone decides they are no longer willing to stay trapped in old patterns. The next 30 days could become the beginning of a completely different chapter in your life. The version of you that feels stronger, clearer, healthier, and more confident is not impossible. That person is built through daily choices, through discipline when you feel tired, through focus when distractions appear, through courage when fear tries to stop you. The greatest investment you will ever make is becoming the person you were created to be. Because once you become obsessed with your potential, average living no longer satisfies you. You begin chasing growth with intensity.